On the news, Buhari says Buni tells party leadership to keep ego in check. Court fixes March 28 to rule on suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari's bail application. And ASU extends strike action by 8 weeks, accuses federal government of unseriousness. We're glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. Following the recent crisis in the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, President Muhammadu Buhari has cautioned leaders and members of the party against actions that could put the party in jeopardy ahead of the forthcoming March 26 convention. To this end, the embattled chairman of the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the party and Governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni, is expected back in the country on Monday to resume the leadership of the party. Niger State Governor Sani Bello had sought to summon a meeting of the National Executive Committee (NEC) for next Thursday. However, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) refused to acknowledge him as the chairman of the party, insisting that letters from the APC to the commission must be signed by Buni and Senator John James Akpanu-Addo-Edehe, the committee's secretary. A Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has lambasted his Edo State counterpart Godwin Obaseki, describing him as a serial betrayer and an ungrateful person. Obaseki and Wike, who are both governors on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), have been at loggerheads in recent days, trading words and accusations. The situation started last week when Wike tongue-lashed Edo Deputy Governor Philip Shuaibu for daring to threaten the PDP on television. Wike described the deputy governor as an ingrate, calling on the PDP to discipline him. Annoyed at Wike's outburst, Obaseki released an advertorial to defend his deputy, saying that Edo does not accept political bullies and overlords. Reacting to Obaseki's comments, Wike said he regrets backing Obaseki in the 2020 governorship election, saying the Edo State governor has finally shown his true color as the betrayer that he is. And the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed March 28 for ruling in a bail application filed by suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari and others. Justice Emeka Wiche fixed the date after counsel to the prosecution and defense argued their applications for and against the bail plea. Justice Wiche had on March 7th fixed March 14 for the hearing of the bail application after the defendants took their plea to the 8-count charge filed against them by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. At the court session, Mahmoud Magaji, counsel representing Kyari, and second defendant Ubia prayed the court to grant his client's bail. Magaji had, while arguing their bail application, told the court that the offences for which they are charged are bailable offences and that the court should grant them bail in the interest of justice.
On behalf of the first and second defendant, we will file a bail application and we moved it, and then the ruling will be adjourned to 28th of this month. The offense we are talking about is a bailable offense, and we are very confident that the court will do justice, apply the judicial discretion to ensure that the defendants get bail, for them to adequately prepare for their trial. It's adjourned to 28th of this month.
An Islamic group under the aegis of concerned Abuja indigents has urged the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, release the travel documents belonging to the leader of Islamic movement in Nigeria, El Zakzaki, and his wife after being acquitted and discharged by the courts. The spokesperson for the group, Ayedo Abdul, made the appeal at a press briefing in Abuja. Ayedo expressed dismay at the continued non-release of the passports, which according to him would enable the couple embark on medical treatment overseas for their health challenges. He advised that the immediate release of the travel document will nip in the bud any potential protest by members of IMN.
We urge the federal government to release Sheikh Al-Zakzaki passport, along with his wife, to enable them travel to the hospital of their choice in order to avoid the return to the street protest by his supporters, which turned Abuja from the city it used to be to seemingly a battleground. As a result of the police brutality against the Free El Zazaki protester, many businesses were disrupted and life lost on numerous occasions, including 2 journalists, a police officer, many protesters, and even some of our members, brothers and sisters. Failure to release Sheikh El Zakzaki's and his wife international passport by the Buhari-led administration will push us to the street before his followers.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has announced an extension of its ongoing strike by 8 weeks. The decision was reached after a meeting of the union's National Executive Council, NEC, on Monday morning at its University of Abuja Secretariat. President of the union, Emmanuel Osodeke, in a statement noted that the National Executive Council during the meeting on Sunday concluded that they would give the federal government 8 weeks to address all the issues in concrete terms so that students would resume. Also embarked on a 1-month warning strike on February 14 after a similar deliberation of the union's NEC. It accused the federal government of going back on the agreements it reached to suspend its last industrial action in 2020. Well, joining me to discuss this further is Dele Ashiru, ASU President, UNILAC Chapter. Well, thank you for joining us on the news. Now, the federal government has argued that ASU's UTAS, that is the University Transparency Accountability Solution payroll software, did not meet up to standard and that the union has failed to send back an improved version. Now, how does the union react to this?
For this invitation, the first reaction is to say that that position by whoever, especially the DG of NIDA, is not correct. The correct information as contained in our release is that the Director General of NIDA didn't attend any of the meetings between the test committee and our technical committee. After making that statement last week at the Federal Executive Council, our union has put a lie to it. As I speak with you, the technical committee of NIDA and that of our union are currently meeting at the NIDA office in Abuja to review those gray areas that they seem not to understand about the peculiarities of the university system. If a group does not understand how a system works, it is uncharitable for that group to then conclude that the system failed. As we speak, UTAS is a homegrown software developed for the Nigerian university system, and the test that it is undergoing at the moment, the software had passed commendably. So the information by the Director General of NIDA is far from the truth. It's not correct at all.
All right. The federal government has also said it would renegotiate the term of the 2009 agreement. Now, with the renegotiation, what does ASU hope to achieve from it?
Well, if we read within the lines, it is also not very correct to say that government has said it will renegotiate with ASU. The first terms of reference in the terms of reference given to the committee says that the government will finalize with its relevant stakeholders and present to us its opinion about the document that we already have. As I speak with you, our union already negotiated the 2009 agreement with the Professor Muzali Jubril-led government renegotiating team. I think that the second terms of reference refers to other unions within the university system. So what we're expecting from government, and that's why we gave an 8-week rollover strike so that government can look into those areas and present to us their own view on the proposal that we already have. So we are not expecting government to start a fresh negotiation with us, but rather to look at the document that we already have and tell our union what proposals government have and the way government is currently thinking.
Well, Dele Ashiru, our President, UNILAC chapter, thank you for joining us on the news and for your contribution. Now to other matters, about 31 Nigerian evacuees who fled Ukraine into Romania on Monday arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The 7th batch arrived at 6:30 a.m. and were received by officials of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission and the Refugee Commission. This is the second set of evacuees from Romania following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has left many displaced. However, unlike the previous batches of returnees that arrived via chartered flights, the 31 evacuees arrived on a commercial flight. And the Speaker, Parliament of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Sidi Tunis, is looking ahead to a democratic rule which makes for political inclusion and good governance in the sub-region. The Speaker made this known at the closing ceremony of the first extraordinary session of the year 2022 of ECOWAS Parliament in Monrovia, Republic of Liberia. Given his thoughts on the outcome of the parliamentarians' gathering in Liberia, the Speaker expressed hope that the quality of presentations and deliberation at the session will in no small measure shape the future of the sub-region.
We have extensively discussed and analyzed the political situation in the sub-region, vis-à-vis the incessant coup d'etats in some member states. There is no better time than now to do a broad discussion on the political instability and disruption of democracy being witnessed in some member countries. The selfless deliberations and insightful discussions, as well as their conclusions, are worth commendations. I am also convinced that arising from this extraordinary session, the effects of our deliberations and recommendations will yield positive results in our sub-region.
Assessment of the operational status of the early warning effective in member states to ensure their capacity to fully assume their role in crisis prevention. To the ECOWAS Parliament, establish as soon as possible a mechanism for the implementation of the provisions of paragraph 2 Article 41 of the Supplementary Act relating to the enhancement of the powers of Parliament, stating, in exceptional circumstances and in accordance with the community objective, Parliament may, through a resolution, ask the President of the Commission to activate the mechanism for conflict prevention, management and resolution, peacemaking and security. The establishment of such a mechanism will enable Parliament to participate more actively in prevention of crisis in the region, as well as safeguarding democracy and peace.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Ukraine President Zelensky warns NATO as Russia strikes near Polish border. Details of the story and more right after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. Following the recent crisis in the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), President Muhammadu Buhari has cautioned leaders and members of the party against actions that could put the party in jeopardy ahead of the oncoming March 26th convention. To this end, the embattled chairman of the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the party and Governor of Yobe State, Mai Malabuni, is expected back in the country on Monday to assume the leadership of the party. We also told you that a federal high court in Abuja has fixed March 28 for ruling on a bail application filed by suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari and others. Justice Emeka Nwite fixed the date after counsel to the prosecution and defense argued their applications for and against the bail plea. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Nigeria on Sunday recorded 36 coronavirus infections across 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The breakdown of the new cases released by the NCDC on Monday indicates that Yobe State topped the chart with 30 cases, while Lagos State, the epicenter of the virus, recorded 3 new cases. The latest statistics by the NCDC shows that the new confirmed cases have increased the country's infection toll to 254,989, while with no fatalities recorded, the country's death toll still stands at 3,142. An effort to contain the spread of coronavirus in China has spiraled out of control as a new variant takes hold. Chinese virologists say the arrival of the Omicron variant and its new stealth sub-variant, both of which appear to evade China's Sinovac vaccine, leaves the efforts made by China in tatters. Chinese authorities confirmed 1,337 new locally transmitted cases in mainland China on Monday, March 14th. Rising from the 17 million residents in the Chinese tech hub of Shenzhen on Monday began their first full day of lockdown, with restrictions also imposed in other major cities and health officials warning that tighter measures could be imposed as concerns mount over the resilience of China's zero-COVID approach in the face of the highly transmissible Omicron variant. Well, we'll take a break now and return with business updates. Don't go away.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so... Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's time for business news and stock market review with Abisola Adebayo. Over to you, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Mary. Welcome to Business News. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, has held an emergency meeting with stakeholders in the power sector. The meeting, according to the minister, will find solutions that will ensure prompt resolution to all the problems affecting power generation right now in the country. The minister maintains that the Nigerian government will not relent in its efforts to make sure that improvements in the power sector are sustained. In recent weeks, Nigerians have been feeling the pains of fuel scarcity and erratic power supply. On Monday, the national grid collapsed, causing blackouts across the country. Meanwhile, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says the Lekki Deep Sea Port will contribute $360 billion to Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP). Amechi made this known on Sunday in Lagos after inspecting ongoing work at the project site. He added that private sector-funded seaport was being constructed in accordance with the time schedule, stressing that in 3 months' time, the facility would have cranes. The Transportation Minister also expressed his wish to connect the Lekki Deep Seaport to a rail line. He, however, said paucity of funds remains a challenge. Well, we'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. At the end of trading activities at the Nigerian Exchange Limited on Monday, the local equities market altered bullish outing to close on a negative note with a marginal 0.02% decline, driven majorly by sell pressure in medium and large capitalized stocks. Basically, the all-share index lost over 90 points to settle at 47,428 basis points. Investors also lost over 5 billion naira as the market capitalization followed suit in the direction of the all-share index to stand at 25.561 trillion naira, leading the stocks that led the market on a downward trajectory today. Etana and CWG led the losers counter as they both recorded a combined 67 kobo loss. On the flip side, as our gainers list for today, automobile company RT Briscoe and EcoBank Transnational Incorporated led the gainers counter, recording a combined 87 kobo gains. Our market summary sees a total volume of 1 billion naira exchanged and in 4,735 deals. But we're expecting the market to continue its bullish round this week, but unfortunately reverse is the case. Anyways, with the February inflation data expected later this week, let's see how the market turns out in the course of the week. On the foreign scene, the FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei are all in the positive territory. UK shares rose on Monday as hopes for progress in Russia-Ukraine peace talks lifted sentiments globally, with financials leading the advance on FTSE, while Rio Tinto fell after proposing to buy the remaining of Canada's turquoise eel. Dow Jones, in the same vein, is also in the positive territory to shake off some recent losses, with investors looking ahead to the Federal Reserve's next monetary policy decision later this week amid an ongoing war in Ukraine and soaring inflation. In the same vein, Japan stocks Nikkei is also in the positive territory, recording a 0.58% increase at the close of today's trading. That's all on stock market reports. Mary, back to you.
Well, thank you for that update, Abisola. And now on the global scene, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned NATO that its member state will soon be attacked by Russian forces after an airstrike hit a Ukrainian military base close to the Polish border. Zelensky, in a video address released shortly after midnight, urged NATO to impose a no-fly zone over his country. While western Ukraine has largely been spared so far, Russian airstrikes overnight carried the war deep into the west, killing 35 people and wounding 134 at a military base near Yavoriv, which is close to the frontier with EU and NATO member Poland. Meanwhile, officials have said the death toll in the strategic southern port city of Mariupol facing acute deprivation amid a prolonged siege has topped 2,000. Well, it's time for Entertainment Report.
Nollywood veteran actor Fabian Adibe has opened up about how exploitation in the Nigerian film industry forced his untimely exit out of Nollywood. Adibe, in a viral video, revealed that he had been out of work for over 12 years after he turned down a producer's proposition to work on free scripts. The actor, who is visually impaired, further disclosed that while he earned between 10,000 to 30,000 in his prime, veterans like himself currently earn 100,000 naira. Adibe's revelation has since raised a few eyebrows about the state of veteran actors who often pass on from illnesses and abject poverty. A new trailer for Euphoria 360 and Ant Hill Studios' first collaboration, an epic film titled King of Thieves, is finally here. The new trailer promises an intriguing storyline with a plot in Ajeromi, an ancient Yoruba kingdom that is forced into chaos following the invasion of vicious Ajeshikole. King of Thieves stars an impressive lineup of Yoruba stars, with Femi Adebayo in the lead role and Tony Abraham, Odunlade Adekola, Ibrahim Chata, Adedimeji Lateef, Mr. Macaroni, and Brother Shaggy in supporting roles. Scripted by Yinka Laoye, the film will be the first film from the collaboration between Adebayo's Euphoria 360 and Nia Kimolayo's Ant Hill Studios. And that is all that we have for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And now in sports, Egyptian side Pyramids FC has become the first team to qualify for the knockout stage of this season's CAF Confederation Cup after drawing 1-1 against Tunisia's CS Sfaxien in their Group A match. Walid El Khati scored for Pyramids FC, runners-up in 2020, on the stroke of half-time before Firas Chaout levelled for the three-time winners 9 minutes into the second half. The results left Pyramids, who remain unbeaten so far, top of the table with 10 points, followed by Al Ali Tripoli with 9 points. Well, that's the size of our news bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching. I am Mary Kanu.